So we're down at the bottom of the garden again today in our mini orchard area, which is not much of an orchard at the moment because we haven't got any trees planted yet. But that is what we're going to do today. And we're going to be starting with some avocado trees. So if you've got the tape measure, you can show the distance and I can just put some marks down.
So if we go for the 130, like we said, or do you want to go 150? What do we have?
What's the distance to the wall? I think it's only 130.
140. So let's go 140. So if our mulch basin ends at the wall, then on this side, it will end
there.
There.
What is the size of the mound in the middle? Do we have a measurement for that? Or is it just whatever?
Specific measurement.
Okay, but would we want to split the difference like
but
half?
I would go
50?
Yeah, 50 I think. Yep. So this moundy part, we also want to take off the top layer of this clayey soil and replace it with so the mound starts lower than just on top of this.
Okay.
More digging.
We should probably explain where this design comes from. We're not just making it up.
No, we're not making this one up. So, this is actually from a book. We've done lots of research. This is an excellent book called Create an Oasis with Grey Water, Integrated Design for Water Conservation. Also has a little bit in here about rainwater, but mostly it is about grey water. We are trying to replicate a diagram in here that is specific for grey water and avocados. The grey water design that we're using is called mulch basin. Some people also call it laundry to landscape when it's coming just from a laundry, but we've actually got multiple sources of grey water in ours. The concept is you plant a tree, around that tree you dig a big, let's call it a moat, because we've dug many moats.
A basin.
A basin. You fill it with mulch, you run your grey water pipe to the outside of that moat basin, the grey water drips down, the mulch helps it to stay in that area, and then the tree in the middle will send its roots out to collect that water. Now it's a slightly different design with avocados because we're on clay, and avocados don't like their feet getting wet or their roots being in a lot of water, so that you end up putting a mound above your basin so that the bottom of the roots, depending on how big you want them, will kind of never really get into that really deep wet water.
Or hard clay.
Or hard clay, because they will try to go down and then they'll just go out.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to deliberately try and keep our trees smallish. Let's see how successful we are with that, because we only need to eat so many avocados.
You love avocado.
I do.
Good job too, because we're going to have 3 trees.
The other thing with this design is when you start with a new tree, the grey water pipe that feeds the mulch basin needs to come further in, and as the tree grows you come in and cut that pipe back until it's out at the drip line. So that is the theory. The other thing to note is, to begin with, when we first plant these trees, the mulch basin and the grey water is probably not going to be a lot of use to the tree because its roots will be so small and still in the mound, they're getting nowhere near that grey water. So we'll have to manually irrigate maybe for a year, maybe for 2. There is also the option, the book says, that you actually don't put the mulch basin in when you first plant the tree, but you come back later and do it. But we figured we may as well do it all together and then it's done. And then you just need to top up the mulch in the mulch basin and over the mound every 1 to 2 years, depending on how much your mulch dips. And finally, on the outer edge of the mulch basin, you put a slight mound, and that's basically just to contain the mulch so that you know where the basin is and where the rest of your land is.
Cool.
Let's see if we can actually get anything like this image.
Well, let's start with one, see if we can do all the learning on the first one, and then we've got 2 others to do.
It's nice and wet.
Moist, some would say.
You might find this is easier on your back, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a bit more force with the mattock.
maybe you shouldn't do any.
Well, it's a good excuse to get out of digging duty.
It doesn't have to be very precise.
Well, that sounds like a job for me.
The most important part is the depth.
Now, it might look like we're being a bit obsessive about digging this basin, so perhaps I'd better explain a little bit. All of the grey water produced from our house, from the sinks, the bath, the shower, will all empty into one of two basins that will be filled with a woody mulch. We need the bottom of the basin to be flat so that the water doesn't just flow to one side, but surrounds the roots of the tree evenly. And we're also being careful to get the right depth. We want the basin to be 30 centimetres or 1 foot deep, and then the mound in the middle will also be about 30 centimetres tall. And we've chosen these measurements because avocado trees are quite shallow rooted, and most of their roots will sit in the top 60 centimetres or 2 foot of soil. So hopefully that goes some way to explain why we're taking care and measuring everything to give us the best possible chance of a healthy tree and a bountiful crop of rich, creamy avocados. Very different colour. It's nice for homemade compost, eh?
Yeah, after it was sieved.
Oh, it's been sieved, that's why it looks so good.
Sieved, yeah.
That's...
Remember when you were doing the steps and I was doing
yeah.
a day of sifting compost?
Right.
So then our mound has to come up to here.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So now we can build the mound around it.
And then just let it naturally
Well, I would
flatten
kind
out,
of
widen out.
pack it a bit and then we'll maybe just water it.
Okay. Yeah.
But like just come along and do
Yeah,
this.
sure. Because then there's a load of mulch to go on
And
afterwards.
then once we've rebuilt this mound up to the top, we'll pull this out, take the plastic off and chuck the tree back in.
Yep, that sounds like a good idea. In case anyone's really confused, we're not planting it in the plastic. You mean like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very soft. But, you know, the instructions say make a mound. That is pretty much exactly what we're doing here.
And I guess this is where the cage, the boxes, whatever people do, is a little bit easier.
Well, that's for the mulch, not for the mound, though, isn't
But
it?
no, it's for both.
Oh, it is for both.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people plant them in like a big tractor tyre,
Yeah.
but we don't have a big tractor
No.
or a big tyre.
And those tyres can leach God knows what. So
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we need to get a level on this to make it plumb, right?
Stop it. 50 centimeters. So what is 18 inches?
About 400 or 450, I think.
Okay, so then we're good. We're in the range.
24 inches is 60. Yeah, so in theory, we can just
Slide out, slide in.
slide out and then slide in. Let's have a look.
Slid out nice.
And we might want to break the root ball up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not so sure with avocados how much, because I think they're quite fragile.
Surprisingly moist.
Well, we've had a lot of rain. I don't know how else to break this up. Oh. It needs to be able to fit back in the hole.
Yeah.
I think that's nice and loose now.
Yeah, that's good. Stick it in. I don't know if we need to do any initial pruning on it. Probably.
I think the only thing we need to worry about for the first season is just taking out all the flowers to make sure that it doesn't try and fruit. Okay.
Now I think we might want to compact around this root ball a little bit.
I was just thinking of doing this and then kind of
Yeah.
pushing. Yeah, they're almost like Singapore noodles.
Do you think we also need to address the fact that the tree doesn't look super healthy right now?
So,
With the leaves, I mean.
I'm in a gardening group, Gardening in Portugal Facebook group. And funnily enough, this question about avocado leaves going brown has been raised a lot recently because we've had a harsh and wet winter. And apparently that's what happens.
Ah, so this is to be expected.
Yes, so as it comes out of winter, i.e. now, it'll put on new growth and we'll get more of these beautiful green lush leaves. I always find that these look really droopy.
But I think that is just how avocado trees look.
Yeah, it's funny. All right, how do we feel about that now?
Suitably over-engineered.
Okay, so do you want to fashion your mound?
I'll do some mound shaping.
And I'll start bringing in the mulch.
Yeah.
So if you've been following along with us since the beginning of the year, we took a break late December, January, and then when we came back we showed you the land clearing that we'd done. This is the mulch that resulted from all of that land clearing. So it's got the prunings of our olive trees in it. We did a whole load of pruning of the lower branches of some corks, just other lots of bits and pieces that we ran through our shredder machine. And so we knew that we were going to be doing these mulch basins, so we obviously saved it all. I still haven't finished over there. So if we don't have enough mulch here, then I guess I'll go and finish that. I also gave this Neshborough tree a bit of a haircut because it was almost to the ground with drooping branches, and so there's some of that in here as well. So this is what will happen when our grey water goes into these mulch basins. This is all really, really wet, and so it's not rained for 3 or 4 days. This really wet mulch will then be in that basin for however long, and because it's grey water it will stay like that because we're going to produce grey water every day. So it's a really cool way of reusing your grey water, but also making sure that it doesn't dry out when you put it at the base of trees. Okay.
Good job we got a big mulch pile.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be enough for the 2 or 3 or however many we're doing.
Yeah, we'll see. you want to do the last one?
I hope this is the last one. This is our whole mulch pile now gone. I guess I'll be mulching this weekend.
Well, it's only half of the olive trees that we've pruned, so
Yeah,
the
and
other
there's
half.
another neshbro tree that I could do, plus all the stuff that's just sitting in piles, like this pile, that we might get around to doing now.
Yeah.
If we spend the weekend mulching, we can just come and add it all on top to get to the...
Do we not spend the weekend relaxing?
Okay, I'll spend the weekend mulching. Yeah, perfect. It's a big mulch basin, isn't it?
It's huge. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
And that's only for a
small
that
avocado
size tree. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess it's a pretty big span.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the same size as a mandarin tree.
Should we say that this is done and we've planted a tree?
Yeah, I think we just need to water it because it hasn't been watered in.
Okay.
So I'll run the hose down here.
Okay.
Do we have one that reaches? One from the deck, I guess.
Nice demonstration there of how the water just goes in and stays underneath.
Yep.
Enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to have to do this all over again tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
It is really hard, you're right.
It is really hard, isn't it?
Ah, it's actually not so bad when you use
Once you loosen it.
Yeah. So I'm going a bit outside the box.
Yeah.
Just.
So we'll dig out the side that I'm on and put it on the side down there.
Yeah, exactly. Just fill this back in.
Oh,
It's all back.
I thought this was supposed to be the easy one. Now, if you're new around here, you might be wondering, why did they just dig a big hole and fill it back in again? And if you've been watching for a while, you'd be like, yeah, no, they do that a lot. But what we've done here is we've excavated about 30 centimeters down and we've filled it in with a higher quality soil. So topsoil that we dug out in a previous digging a hole and filling it back in again episode. And a little bit of homemade compost, which some people will be worried about because they think, oh, you shouldn't bury compost underground because it can get anaerobic and all sorts of stuff like that. That may be true of active compost, but this compost is well and truly finished and is now essentially just really rich soil.
I think it's 3 years old.
On top of the hole, we're then going to put our box that we made this morning, fill that in with a similar kind of mix, and then we'll plant the avocado tree into that. So it's a slightly different method than we did yesterday with the mulch basin. We're doing an experiment, a very scientific experiment, to see which method works best, or which method works. And then some of the other trees we're going to plant will be much, much simpler. Essentially, dig a small hole, put in a tree, mulch over the top, and be done.
And one of the reasons we're not doing a mulch basin here is at some point in the future, I'm hoping next year, we're going to fix this boundary wall. And so the mulch basin, if we did put it here, would go to the boundary wall, which would impede us being able to do that, or it would all collapse. So we might put a mulch basin back here after that is done.
Maybe, yeah.
We'll see. We want to test to see how much grey water waters those two trees. And we won't be able to test that until it's in place. So like a bathtub worth of water, somewhere between 50 and 80 litres, does that give too much water to 2 avocado trees? I don't know. So
I guess it depends on how often you have a bath.
well, yeah, if it was every day, that would be too much. But I don't have a bath every day. I do wash myself every day. Just to be clear.
Yeah, let's not go there again.
Yeah.
Bit high that side.
Run it across the diagonals. Yeah. So we can just bring this side up.
It will be fine. It's a garden box.
So
You want to level it, don't you?
I do. I want to see how far off level is it. Just
It's not that far off.
run it along. So even that is not level.
Hey. High or low? High.
So just add something under that corner.
We'll just move this corner down a bit. I mean, this
matter.
box isn't level.
No. Whatever. If you're happy with it, let's just fill
It's
it in.
good enough, isn't it? I'm going to steal some of your water if that's all right.
Which avocado tree did you decide goes here?
It should be the same species as the other one,
Right.
because we've got the different species to go in the middle. Yeah, it's this one on the left here.
Yeah.
Bacon? No,
Reed?
reed. Oh, crap.
Okay, put it all in then.
There was. You're going to go all of it?
Yeah. And then I'll just spread it around.
Okay. Look at that.
It's lovely, isn't it?
That's a really nice compost.
I wonder if I can just put it. Yeah.
Look at that. This is a cool method. I don't think I've seen anyone do that before, but I don't watch a lot of content.
I'm sure Kyle did it.
Oh, did he?
With his trees.
Maybe. Excellent.
Oh, is it straight? I didn't even check the orientation.
Get the level.
Are you happy with it?
It's leaning a bit. Needs to go that way a bit.
Jam it in. There you go.
So we just need to move it away from the trunk.
Okay, back out.
Pull out, did you say?
I deliberately said back out.
Well, I tell you what, that was a lot easier than yesterday's effort.
Right?
Do you want to just move the mulch away from the trunk a bit more? Make like a donut in the middle.
Right. Now we just need to water it in.
That's 2 trees down and we've got 1 left to do. This tree is located in between the other 2, so we've carefully selected a different species here. This last one that we're planting is a bacon avocado, whereas the first 2 we planted are called reed. The reed avocado is a type A, whereas the bacon is a type B. And having those 2 different types is quite important. According to the internet, type A avocado flowers open in the morning, displaying functional male parts, which sounds a bit weird, but only become receptive to pollination in the afternoon. Type B flowers typically open in the afternoon and are receptive to pollen during their female phase. This afternoon bloom time complements the morning opening type A flowers, facilitating effective avocado pollination, which is a very scientific sounding way of saying how avocado trees are doing it. So because we've got both types present within a few meters of each other, we should have good pollination and therefore plenty of fruit. Excellent.
We've got all 3 avocados planted, 2 different methods. I think all that is left to do is to share some final thoughts, wrap this up and move on to the next project. So in some years, we will have many avocados, in theory.
In theory. So this took a lot more work than I was expecting.
You should put that on a t-shirt.
But they look really good. Do need to top up with some more mulch. So we mulched everything that we had in piles around the land and did some more pruning of a few more olive trees. That's as much as we can mulch for the moment. We will top this up in the not too distant future. We're not actually using the mulch basins anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The last thing we do have to do is actually connect the grey water pipework, which in the coming weeks we will do that. More digging, so just need to give our backs a break first. But yeah, really happy. I really like the one in the wooden box. It's probably my favorite one. I do like this one with the older mulch. It looks really nice. This one with the newer mulch. Needs to settle a bit first. And the cats love it. It's like a cat playground.
I am also quite a big fan of the one in the box, mostly because it was a lot easier and a lot less digging, but I think it also looks quite nice as well. But down here, it looks a bit bare and arid at the moment because we've got lots of exposed earth. This is all going to be covered with a seed mix, a combination of clover and lots of wildflowers as well. So we're going to put that in at some point in the future, but we need to dig the grey water pipework first. Otherwise we'd be digging up all of the seeds that we sowed. We have watered everything in, but we've got a load of rain coming later this week, so that will get these trees nice and settled into their new home. And then at some point in the future, they will be watered every time we wash our hands or have a bath or a shower, which is kind of cool. Anyway, we're going to leave it there for now. We will see you in the next video. We've got more tree planting to do and some tree removal to do as well. So join us for that next time. We'll see you later. Bye for now.
Bye.